Welcome to the boating adventure. Well, a very good afternoon to you. It is Wednesday, the 2nd of October 2024, and hey, the sun is shining. That hasn't happened for a few days. It's been very, very wet, and I've decided I didn't want to take the boat out at the moment. I thought I would use the opportunity whilst it's been awful weather to do a little bit of work on the boat. And what I want to do in particular is to do some work on the deck here. And what I would like to do is I want to get rid of some of this very dark wood stain that I've inherited really, and try and lighten this part of the boat up a little bit. It would be quite easy to paint it, but I don't think that that would look right at all. It wouldn't be in keeping with the character of the boat. So what I've decided to do is to sort of compromise on that. Get rid of the really dark walnutty, dark oak colour, and introduce something a little bit lighter, like a light maple. And I've bought some of this Dulux, and it is called warm maple. So I think if I was to introduce that into the deck, and with some new decorations and so on, I think it would bring the cockpit to life a little bit and make it look less dark. And it can be quite gloomy on a not such a nice day. So that's what I intend to do, and I have started, and this is going to be quite a long process, so it's a question of doing a little bit at a time. So I thought I would start with the most important thing on the deck here, and that's the ship's wheel. So I've started to do that. I've done a little bit of sanding, and then I've applied a coat of some paint stroke varnish stripper, which needs to be on there for about an hour, and then hopefully it'll all just wash off. Of course it won't, I shall still have to rub it down, but it might make it a little easier. So you can see how quite dark all this woodwork is, and I think it would look a little bit nicer if it was lifted up with a lighter colour. And then these little bits were painted, so just to split it up a little bit, I think that's quite a good idea. They just need redoing. So I've started with the wheel. I did do some sanding, and it's now got a coat of paint stripper on, so I'll see how that improves in an hour's time. So I thought the best way to approach this is to do a section at a time. So I thought I'd start in this area and then move on to the cabin door. This is a fluorescent strip that I put on right in the beginning, and it's got a little bit tatty, so that's going to come off. These gold edges I painted on, so I think I'm going to try and find something a little bit more luxurious than that, and just a change of things like the doorknobs might help to spruce it up a little bit. Get rid of that nasty white vent down there and place it with a brass one, so it's got two brass vents rather than one plastic and one brass one. Just little things like that to enhance it all a bit. And then there's this door here, which I made myself when I bought the boat. There were some sort of wire basket affairs behind here, and I got rid of those and put a door on so I could keep my equipment all nicely locked away and safe when we're moored up. That needs sorting out. That can be stripped down. Some of these edges here need tidying up. Dark woodwork down the bottom here, that can be stripped down quite carefully and lightened up. And then there's bits of the blue paintwork to redo. And I'm in the process of sourcing some fresh cushions for for the seats here. They're quite old, and the back ones actually don't fit. I don't think they were actually intended to be there. I think they've just found their way there, so they can go. And I've got some new ones all lined up ready. So I'll do some extensive fore, and then I can do some after shots so that you can see what has gone on. This is all going. Underneath these there are two lockers on each side. This one houses things like the trolley that I use sometimes when I go and fetch petrol, and also the Chinese diesel heater is all under there. And then on the other side you've got the battery compartment and all of the electrics like the inverter and that kind of thing. They're just loose at the moment, and it was suggested as part of the boat safety scheme that I should make them a little bit more secure by hinging them. So I have sourced some nice brass hinges from a very well-known supermarket from the middle aisle, would you believe, and they were actually half price. They're trying to get rid of them. So I've got some case hinges. They're quite sturdy, so I've got two sets of those. So that's really cost me pence. I just have to exchange the screws for some bolts so that it is quite secure. The paint stripper that I'm using is this TX10 paint and varnish stripper by Bartoline. I got this from B&M, and it was just less than £5, which is a lot cheaper than most places where I saw it advertised, and on a well-known warehouse it was at least double the price. So I'm just going to spend the rest of today and then tomorrow on this. So I'm going to stay overnight at the marina, so that gives me plenty of time to make headway with this. But I think it's going to be a fairly lengthy job. This paint stripper, what you're supposed to do with it is you're supposed to put it into a suitable container, apply with a brush quite a thick coat. You don't have to brush it out as though you were painting, just dab it on and leave for about an hour, and then you can apply a second coat if it's a really thick paint or a thick varnish. And then once it's softened, then you use a scraper to strip off the paint and the varnish, and then it suggests rubbing it down with a scrubbing brush, not a wire brush or anything like that. Just I was going to use one of the scrubby pads and some detergent. So I think this is going to be quite a labour intensive operation doing this wheel, because it's obviously quite fiddly little bits, but it is working, it is coming off. You can see there it has softened it up. There's goodness knows how many different layers that people have put on during its 50 years or so. Okay, so you can see here how sort of like flaky and sticky this has all become. It's actually peeling off, and if you use some kitchen paper, it does seem to pull it off. Especially difficult to get on these little turned shapes here. It's coming off quite nicely and revealing a very nice mahogany natural wood underneath. so I don't know why that was ever covered with some nasty horrible varnish, but it's coming off. When we brought the boat back from Syston, we did have a couple of occasions when the engine let us down, and I think partly it was because there's so much weed in places and we picked up a fair amount of rubbish, so you do expect that. But I think at some stage something actually got into the engine, and it was overheating. On the last day it was particularly bad, so I had to ring up LR Harris and just seek some advice from them. Their advice was to get a pump and pump some air through the telltale. So fortunately I got a bike pump and we've got a straw, so we were able to set something up so that we could push some high pressure into the telltale, just get some air through it, because they thought that there might be something that was connecting with the thermostat, which is why it was overheating. And also then to try and clean the grill. Now that's never easy because it's right at the bottom of the engine, so it means leaning out a fair old way. So we did that, and then the other suggestion was to flush some water through the top part of the engine. There is a special place on the side of the engine for doing that on this new engine. We didn't have it on the last one, we had to use mufflers, but on this one you don't. You just undo the cap at the side of the engine and attach the hose, but that's all right if you've got a water supply. But at that time we were on the Coventry Canal, and the nearest water supply was at Bridge 15 on the Ashby Canal, by which time we're almost here. So I think with putting the air through and just cleaning the filters, we kept the engine going. We didn't stop, we just kept it on the sort of just above tick over really. It took us quite a while to get back, but we managed it. And so I decided that I would leave flushing the engine out until the weather was better, because when we arrived back it was throwing it down with rain, and has been ever since. So today's the day that I'm going to flush that engine through. This is the part that you have to undo to fix your hose in. Now I'm told that the other side of that there is a rubber seal, so you have to be very careful when you open it that nothing falls out, so you need to make sure you catch things before they fall into the drink. Once that's undone, then the kit that came with the boat included a fitment that screws into that and then goes into the end of your hose. Now I might have to turn the boat round for this, it just depends whether I can get the hose to reach. It's a little way to the tap. This is the little fitment that came with the kit, which was supplied with the engine. So that goes into your hose, and that bit screws into the side of the engine. So I've got that little filler installed on the side, so it's just a matter of putting the hose onto it now. I managed to get the hose attached to the engine without moving the boat. As you can see, there's plenty of water there. It's coming out of the bottom, and it's also coming out of the telltale, so it's flushing it through. I think what I'm going to do now is put the engine upright, see if we can get the water to come out of the filters. That'll be good. I've flushed the engine right through as much as I can, so we'll see if it'll start. A bit of choke. First time. Wait for the red light to go off and then get rid of the choke. Certainly water coming out of the telltale. I'm just going to run it for a little while, see what happens. I've applied one coat of this warm maple to the steering wheel. It's a bit disconcerting when you first put it on, because it obviously it's nothing like it dries. It just looks quite wet and like it's going to run everywhere, but now it's started to dry, it's a lot more uniform. It tells you not to shake the tin or to stir it or anything like that, just take it out of the tin as it is, and it dries incredibly quickly. So this can be used for interior and exterior, and it's quite tough and durable, it says. So that's actually drying quite nicely, and it's a lot lighter colour than the woodwork behind it. So I'm quite happy with that colour, and I think if that's on the deck, all over the deck, that's going to certainly brighten it up a bit. I just need to get a new Railcraft badge for the centre of the steering wheel. Well, a very good day to you. It's Wednesday the 16th of October 2024, and I've come over to the boat today to carry on with this work of sprucing up the deck. It's not a particularly nice day. It's quite drizzly outside, so any work that I do on the boat is going to be confined to inside in the main. So good opportunity to crack on with this work and get it done. It's been quite a few days since I was last here. I've been away last week up to Yorkshire on the east coast there, and so it's been a fortnight, I think, tomorrow that I was last here. So this has had a good opportunity to dry completely, and I think that looks fabulous. I've just stuck a Railcraft badge on, so I'm just I've taped it up so that it doesn't move whilst it's drying. So once that's dry, I can take the tape off, and that's the steering wheel done, and I think that's fabulous. So the next thing to do is to concentrate on all this dark wood here around the light fitting, and at the side here some of these things will have to come off, and then behind the wheel itself. So if I could just get this bit done, and then where the footrest is, get that done, all this area here, that would be phase one, if you like. I've got to take this fluorescent reflective tape off, which I bought. That reveals a true colour underneath, so that's going to come off, and I have bought some new tape, and it's luminous tape. So basically, it's when you put it on in daylight it's white, and then at night time it glows blue. So really it's be very useful when we go into a tunnel or something like that. I'm not too bothered about it glowing at night time, but certainly when we go into a tunnel, it's going to give some reflection to anybody following us. So I'm going to get this light fitting removed. So I can have a bit of a clean. So I want to get the paint stripper on this. I'll put some tape down here, protect all this, and some plastic sheeting, and then get the old paint stripper out, give it a coat or two, and hopefully this is going to be a bit easier than doing the wheel. The most difficult part is going to be doing behind the wheel. Okay, so I've applied some of the paint stripper, and it's been on a while now, and it's certainly lifting off. It's lifting off the varnish very easily. So that's looking good, and that's a lot easier than when I did the steering wheel, so at this rate should get the job done a lot quicker than I thought. One of the things I've bought brand new this week for the boat is a new one of these air pots that we use for storing the hot water. The last one I had was quite a lot of years old, and it wasn't really keeping things hot for very long, not as long as we wanted it to. So I thought it was time to have a look at another one. This is made by a company called Varnish, and it had very good reviews on Amazon. I filled it up with boiling water, and it's been in for about an hour now, and you certainly can't feel any warmth coming through onto the outside, which is good news. So it's obviously working, keeping that heat in rather than it coming out to the outsides. Whereas the other one, after a while, you could feel the outside was warming up. So obviously it wasn't insulating as well as it could. So hopefully that will give us some hot water for a lot longer. So I'm going to test it now, because I filled it up with boiling water an hour ago. So I'm just going to make a cup of tea and see if it's okay. Okay, so that seems to be working very well. So cheers. Well, a very good day to you. It is Thursday the 17th of October 2024, and it's an absolutely glorious day here at Trinity Marina. It's too nice really to be inside the boat, but I'm going to have to, because I need to crack on and finish removing the varnish on this section of the deck that I'm going to try and re-varnish before I go home today. This is the extent of what I managed to achieve yesterday. I've done that little panel above the controls there. So all this bit behind the wheel, most of it has been done. There's the odd little bit that still needs to come off. And as I go further down, you can see I got bored. No, it just I ran out of light really yesterday. It got quite dark and it was difficult to see. So in the main, I've just got some odd bits to do. I did leave a coat of the paint stripper on last night, so that's been working overnight really. Last time I did it, I found that was quite good. The main bulk of the job today is this bit here. Underneath the footboard is the generator, so I need to move that out the way and just do the little bit around there. Okay, so I've now done as much as I can do for today, because I've got other jobs that I need to be attending to. So I've cleaned the vast majority of this thick, horrible brown varnish off. So what you see is the natural wood, and I've just cleaned it down with some detergent. That footboard looks impressive. And I've tried a little bit of the stain on this bit here, which I did yesterday. I finished it cleaning it yesterday, so it's had the longest time to dry. And so this is the colour it's going to be. So it's a lot lighter than it was before, and you can still see the natural wood effect through it. So I think that's what I really wanted to achieve. So if we compare the parts that I haven't done yet, this is the dark varnish, and then over to the other side where I have done that top bit, so you can see it's a whole lot lighter. So once it's all done, I think it's going to brighten up the deck quite considerably. So I hope you've enjoyed this little look at some of the jobs that I have to keep doing to keep this 51-year-old boat afloat and looking shipshape and Bristol fashion. There are one or two other jobs that I have lined up to do. I want to redo the toilet. It hasn't been done since I bought the boat, and I've got one or two ideas to improve that. So that's another little task once this deck area is completed. I don't want to spend every waking hour on the boat doing all this DIY stuff, though. I do want to take it out. Somebody did say to me the other day, would that be it for the year? No way. I'll be taking it out as long as I can. The only thing that will stop me taking it out on the Ashby Canal is if it freezes, and let's hope that's a few weeks off yet. So thank you very much for all your support, and as always, do take care.